Support for this episode comes from Modern Football Technology. Modern Football Technology provides real-time opponent tendencies and self-scout while eliminating manual data entry into Huddle, DV Sport, and Exos. If you're tired of tools that are time-consuming to learn and perform inconsistently at best, then we recommend Modern Football for a fresh perspective. Schedule a demo today at teammofo.com to see a battle-tested tool that's proven to perform and deliver value. Mention Coach and Coordinator Podcast or use the coupon code CC10 to receive 10% off your first year. And listen to our recent episode featuring Folsom High School defensive coordinator Jordan Ersick to learn more about how the 2023 California State Champion uses modern football to dominate their opponents. John Pennington enters his 7th year as the head coach at West Virginia State University in 2023. Pennington was named the head coach in the spring of 2017 and promptly proceeded to lead the program to its first winning season in a decade. This is part of an episode from our archives, which was recorded in 2018. On this episode, he talks about the overriding concept which builds the West Virginia State offense, strategic flexibility. He shares some great insight into how he thinks about the game and how they put their offense together from year to year. What you see on tape is a direct reflection of what you teach and how you teach. Video is important, but if you don't teach well, you're not going to like what you see on your video. First Down Playbook has been helping coaches teach better for 13 years. It allows you to present installs, playbooks, and practice cards in half the time with NFL quality. Coaching tools like video pairing, a player app, practice schedules, and wristband sheets have made First Down Playbook a program management system with everything in one place. If you're in a position of leadership with your football program, receive a free 1-week look at First Down Playbook. Call them at 512-814-6158 or visit them on their website or social media. Mention Coach and Coordinator Podcast or use the coupon code COACH24 to receive a $100 discount off the normal $700 First Down Playbook team membership price. Links and the phone number are in the show notes. First of all, give us an overview of that offense. What type of offense do you guys run?
We call it strategic flexibility, and I learned a lot from a lot of great coaches, but probably my biggest mentor is Tony DeMeo, who is was a coach at our rival school here in town, but I've always been a big fan of his, and we've developed a relationship over the years. And, we're an option offense. We don't run, dive, read, pitch, but we're always option. We want to attack the defense where the defense is weak. We don't believe in saying take what the defense gives us. We attack where the defense is weak. And the best way to do that is to be able to adjust to attack where they're weak. So if they're loading the box, we're going to throw it. And if they're light box, we're going to run it, is the basic way to put it. So being able to attack all areas of the field, if we have an inside zone run called, we'll have a quick game and or a screen on the edge. Or if we have a running quarterback, we'll be able to zone read and have a screen, to the field. So we're able to attack, different areas of the field. So anytime we put together a play, it's got multiple facets to it. Some plays are pre-snap reads. Some plays are post-snap reads. We try and make things as black and white as possible for the quarterback. That way we can be more efficient. We are an option offense, but we call it strategic flexibility. And we're in attack mode all the time, and we're strategically flexible. And that's pretty much what we do in a nutshell. Is that any play we look to install, and it kind of goes along with our theme for the program is player development. So when we spend money and time and effort, it's going to be in that area. Same thing with our offense. If we're going to put in a new play or something new, it's going to be, based on strategic flexibility. We're not going to run a play just as it looks good on film. It better be flexible. It better have an option to it. It better have something that we don't have to spend a lot of time, like the power read. What a great play, the jet sweep power read, but we don't have time to invest in that exchange.
Right.
Like that is a very expensive exchange, and that could cost us turnovers. So it's a great play, but we found a different way to go about it. We run sprint out pass with the quarterback and a shovel for the bubble or for the power part of the play. So we run power read in a different way. That way we know we can't spend time on that exchange, but shovel pass, worst case scenario, it's an incomplete pass. And then we also get our quarterback's not a great runner, so we can get him on the edge and let him use his arm in the throwing game. So that's kind of an example of how we dissect things. So we examined power read and thought about putting it in, and we just thought it was too expensive. But we thought we might be able to run this sprint out shovel power, and it was the best play we had. We used it on every third down, red zone. I mean, we used it constantly. And I thought that was a really good example of how our staff understood, that there's a lot of great plays out there, but what play fits West Virginia State? And the power read concept we wanted to run, we just had to figure out what worked for us, and that really worked for us this year.
I love it. A lot of creativity in that play. And I've seen so many different versions now of that power read and what people are doing. Talk me through your favorite formation for that and kind of the setup of that play, what it might look like for us. I think we'll assume we're using the power O, the power blocking up front, where we're gonna double a 3 and pull a guard around there. But talk us through your favorite formation for that play and what your guys are doing.
Favorite formation would be if we got 2 wide receivers to the field, 1 wide receiver, single wide receiver to the boundary, and we have our fullback or tight end lined up strong to that 2 receiver side, and we have our running back lined up weak, and he would be our shovel guy. We have we call the power run, but we have a different name for it because our O-line, our pulling guard, has to know not to go downfield, so we have a different name for that. But they know it's power blocking. And so the O-line's running power, and then we tag, a route concept. Maybe it's smash, maybe it's flood, something like that, where we can, run it with that 2 receiver side. And we use the fullback and the tight end to basically be our sprint protection guy. So he's going to arc release for any edge blitzer. The best thing about this part of it is we have a bear answer built in. So if we get bear, our quarterback automatically moves the tight end or fullback up towards the line of scrimmage, and now he is involved in the power blocking scheme. So we're able to block, 7 guys by reading the inmate on the line of scrimmage, and now we have a bear answer, and we can use that fullback basically in our sprint protection, or we can use them in the power blocking scheme based on the front that we get from the defense we're seeing. So once again, that's kind of our strategic flexibility built in right there. But we run sprint to the field. We read the inman on the line of scrimmage. If he squeezes with that down block, then our quarterback is basically, free with a lead blocker to make a throw and have a great look at that throw. And then, we can have some man-beating concepts over there. And then if the end comes upfield with the quarterback, then we shovel it to our running back, and he makes a go call so that pulling guard knows that he can go downfield and hit somebody.
Got it. And your fullback's responsibility in that, what is he doing?
He's arc releasing to pick up any edge blitz. So if we got edge blitz and the end pinched, that would tell the quarterback he'd be reading the end. So the end would tell him to not shovel and stay on the run to throw. So the fullback would pick up any edge blitz coming at the quarterback's face. And if we did get bear, he would move up towards the line of scrimmage and become a down block. He'd be down to the second backer in the box.
I love it. Coach, now will you implement sprint out as well? Do you have that kind of as a separate component of the offense?
Well, we do sprint out differently. When we do sprint out, our O-line is always moving in the opposite direction, which it may be a little bit different, but I just not a big fan of the old school sprint protection, 80 and 90 protection. So when we run that power play, that's basically how we run our sprint out pass.
Yeah.
I mean, 90% of the time the end crashes with our tackle because we do run some gap scheme, and ends are taught to squeeze and shove that tackle down so we can't kick them out. And so they do that, and our quarterback's pretty much running free 90% of the time. So that's basically how we run our sprint pass. We also run, we have a quick game to one side and a boot to the other. And the O-line is running quick game protection to the quick game side, so they're going away from the boot. And the tight end or fullback and running back are running that same kind of sprint protection where they're arc releasing. And the quarterback either throws the quick game or pumps and boots out to the field. So all our sprint is not your true 80 and 90 sprint protection. It's got some kind of play built in with it.
Yeah.
We feel like that helps us get the edge.
Absolutely. I love it. I know Sprint out for me, having coached, at college level, I had some quarterbacks who were undersized, kind of like that 5'9" to maybe 6 foot range. And for me, the whole idea was like, they're good, decent runners. They could use their legs to get the edge. But we always talk about moving the launch point and things like that. What I found is like if you didn't have really, sometimes an extra blocker or a good plan to really blunt that edge, that guy is just running in a pocket. So the launch point might be changing, but the vision down the field isn't getting any different, especially for that shorter guy. So we started to use that quick boot game, which I think, going back, Tony DeMayo's been doing that for a long time. But we started to utilize that to get our guy out on the edge clean. And so I love the idea of using the power read with that too, and anything which kind of helps you get out in space. I mean, now you have a guy out in space. He's a threat, and he's got a better view at some of those targets out there.
That's exactly right. And our quarterback last year wasn't a great. He's a great quarterback, all-time leading passer, but he didn't see well down the field in the pocket. That wasn't his one of his strengths. His strengths was, he had some athleticism. So getting him on the run, he was very accurate when he knew where to go with the ball, which was most of the time because he was a great student of the game. But like you said, you're changing the launch point, but you're not really, you're not changing the vision part of it. And that was, we got all that from Tony DeMayo. I mean, that was, that quick game boot was all from him. And we kind of grew from there, and that's how we decided to do the power read. And, once again, we got that power read, that version of the power read from Dustin Ward, who was a coordinator at Concord. Now he's at Catawba. But he got that from Pitt, and he taught it to us. And that's why I love this podcast, is guys sharing ideas and how they can use it in their system.
Absolutely. And obviously, you told me before you do listen to the podcast, so I'm sure you tuned into Tony DeMayo. If you're going to talk with Coach DeMayo, you got to clear out some time. I think that's true. Because Coach DeMayo's got so many interesting stories. And I think when he was talking to me about that particular play, he told me a story about Bill Walsh and how he taught that play to Bill Walsh. I thought, wow, that's amazing. And Tony's just got some great experiences. I'll put the links to his 2 podcasts in our show notes here so our listeners can go back to that. But I highly recommend listening to Coach DeMayo, not just for the knowledge part of it, but he's very entertaining as well.
Well, his outside the box thinking, it just blew me away, he reminded me a lot of myself as far as not wanting to follow the norm. And I just thought and what he's talking about lines up with me perfectly. Now I didn't, and he was always adamant about do it how you want to do it, but I think this is the best way to be efficient on offense. And I realize at West Virginia State we may not be able to have the talent of a Texas A&M Commerce, or that won the national title. And so we got to find, another way. So we're going to win championships here. It's just we got to find the best way to do that, and it's not going to be, the ability to get, the best recruits in the country. I mean, we're going to get some good ones, but it's going to be based on developing players and having a system that works for us.
Please check our show notes for more from Coach Pennington. We have 3 episodes. One we recently did in January, recruiting, NIL, and building culture. Some great insight into some of the things that have changed in the landscape of college football. Small wins equals big gains, and 6 keys for red zone success. 3 excellent episodes. We also put a link to his RPO course in the show notes and links to our episodes with Coach DeMayo. Follow all we're doing on coachandcoordinator.com and follow me on Twitter at Coach K. Grabowski.